Susul. Hello and welcome to Under the Plumbob Podcast, the show about all things related to the EA Maxis series of games called The Sims. We're a group of gals with similar interests, and we put together this show on a weekly basis for your ear holes. You're so welcome. My name is Melissa, your friendly neighborhood editor / hasn't edited anything in a while, but is still here gabbing it up with the gals.
Oh, please. This is Roxy saying Melissa is the one who edited the university episodes you just listened to, and you're welcome.
This is Caitlin, who doesn't edit anything, but does talk sometimes. Hello.
And you got us on Twitch on a weekly basis, so we all contribute in our own special ways.
That's right. We are bringing this to you out of our hearts and our souls and our twitchy fingers, taking on a mass of clicks for you. I mean, for us, but for you, too.
All the clicks.
All the clicks. Truly all the clicks, because this episode we are revisiting MCCC, MC Command Center. We did an episode about this. At this point, it's like 30 episodes ago, which sounds crazy.
It was February 2008.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's not a real time.
That's when we
was
were
in 2008.
No, 2019, I was going to say. And 2019, clean cut. And it was, well, we wrote the script in February. I think the episode went live in February, but...
So go back in time if you haven't listened to that one. Take a listen. It's more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Unorganized?
First impressions. We were young, inexperienced, didn't know how to
That's
click
right.
things in a good order.
Yeah, so it was very much first impressions and, oh my god, look at this, and oh my god, there's just so much. There's so much.
I hit this and this happened, and I don't know why.
My whole game, well, I don't want to say my whole game exploded, because MCCC usually doesn't mess up your game too much unless you really, really, like, dive deep. And that's what we're doing today.
Messing up our game?
Well,
You can.
diving real deep into MC Command Center, because it's very detailed, it's very complex, and it can really enhance your game if you know what to go in and tweak to adjust for your personal gameplay style. If you're new to the show, welcome. Thanks for coming. We hope you stick around for a while. And if you have stuff about MC Command Center that you want to tell us to talk about, because we're definitely going to have to go back in again at a later episode, because there's just so much. There really is so much.
It's a trilogy. Everybody loves a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even want to commit to a trilogy. I feel like it's going to be even further than that. But
In the franchise, a 10-year commitment. Come on, let's do a Marvel.
It's going to be like Toy Story, and you're like, there's 4 parts, but why?
Did we need a 4, really?
The third one ended.
It was
so
kind of good. But
that
the
weird
4
Forky
was
thing looks so
Forky.
cute.
Forky. I am
Is it
trash.
named Forky? Oh no.
Yeah, it's named
yeah.
Forky.
Aww.
I've seen
Yeah,
that.
I haven't seen it yet, but I look forward to.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trash.
I got Disney Plus for a reason, and it's not on there yet. So
I got
But
Disney Plus for
soon.
Baby Yoda. Let's be real.
correct.
He's
Correct.
the cutest. With my spatchy
is me.
spatch.
It's just a green Mogwai. Get over it.
He's so cute though. And he tries.
So we're Mogwais.
He tries so hard. And then they just
Little
pick him up
cup.
and move him. It's so
A little cup of chalky milk.
bone
I love
broth.
Anyway, wow.
I haven't actually watched the show,
Eat your
so
heart out. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about MC Command Center, Baby Yoda, all related content, shoot
Send
us
us
an
memes.
email.
Send us Baby Yoda memes.
Send us all the memes at undertheplumbobpodcast@gmail.com. So,
or tag us on social media, because none of you use email anymore.
what's email? I've never heard of this
Some people
email.
do. Some people at work still use fax, so some things will live on forever.
I put the kibosh on that a few years ago. I was like, no more faxing.
Do you need a 1 in the front? Do you not need a 1 in the front? What? You just tried to fax. You tried to call us, but you called our fax number somehow. How did you do that?
Is the sound you get on the phone when you accidentally dial a fax, is that like the worst sound known to mankind?
It'll ring through the office, and we're like, oh, God.
Oof.
I had a fax machine calling me repeatedly once. And I was like, how do I make it stop? There's no person to tell to stop.
Just wanted to hit you
It was the worst.
The fax machine wanted your number.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I feel like that's like a Bob's Burgers episode waiting to happen.
Oh my God, that'd be good.
I keep getting phone calls, but it's just a fax machine. Like a full Tina Belcher. Like, I have a really serious relationship with a fax machine that keeps calling me.
Somebody needs to make the flip phone for The Sims 4.
Yes. That's a mod somewhere, I'm sure.
Probably.
Anyway, look at us tangenting.
What do they say? Choo choo and hydrate.
Hydrate. Look at us. We're Team Tangent.
I'll sip my coffee right now.
Is it me constantly belching into the microphone? Oh my God. I did like 3 in a row. Did anyone notice?
I didn't even hear.
No.
I'm like trying to like swallow them. There's a John Mulaney stand-up bit where he's just like, at a certain age when you're an adult, you just become so gross.
I love John Mulaney.
Swallowing belches.
This is also a tangent, but when I worked at a concert venue, before his latest stand-up special came out, he came. So I got to see some jokes that were not in the special, and that's why I got to see the special before it came out, kind of. It's very exciting.
The part that when he makes fun of the Catholic Church, it's a couple specials ago, and does like the bread of bread is bread. I showed that to my mother, who's a recovering Catholic, and we cried laughing. Oh my God. The bread of bread is bread. That's what church is like. For anyone who doesn't go to church, that's what it's like. Okay, I think we're stalling because we're a little intimidated.
We're so scared.
Everything we have to talk about. So diving in to MCCC, there's a couple different things you can do in-game to launch MC Command Center after you've downloaded it. I think we go into like how to actually get it in our last episode about it, which again is episode 20. So go check that out. And I hope I'm not lying. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. It's like Othello, where it's like the tagline for that game is like minutes to learn, a lifetime to master.
I thought you were going to go like a Shakespeare route for a second.
Is that right?
And I was like, what?
Yeah, Othello?
No, the game Othello. I think it's Othello. It's like the game with the little black and white tiles that you flip over. Is that Othello?
I'll Google it 1 sec.
Or maybe I don't know what it is. There's some like ancient, like smart person game that's like chess that they're like minutes to learn, a lifetime to master, and that encapsulates MCC to me.
Jesus, you can get it on Amazon for like $45. Why would you spend $45 on this ancient game?
Wow.
I don't know.
Like deep cut. So check out our last episode to find out how to get the mod itself. But now once you're in, you have a lifetime to learn, and you can access the mod a couple different ways. You can click on your sim, you can click on the mailbox, and you can click on, if your sim has a computer, you can click on that. And that, would we say, is like one of the more in-depth menus, if not the most.
It's so long.
It's a lot.
I started and I was like grooving along. I'm like, this is cool. Yeah, this is great. Lots of features. I can do this. 3 hours later, I was like, I'm not even halfway done with this list.
That's why we're doing a part 3. So,
yeah.
So tell me everything that I can do when I go into the game, have MCC, and click on my sim's computer.
Okay, so you take your sim And if you're too cheap to buy a computer, you can do it on any computer. So I took my sim to the Willow Creek Library. And she sat down and I clicked on the computer and it has the Deaderpool logo and you go in and it says MCCC settings. I have no idea how many C's I said, just average them.
C squared.
C cubed, right?
It's cubed. MC cubed.
MC command.
Last time we called it MC Commander. I'm going to call it MC cubed this time. You're welcome.
It's either MC squared, which is like, haha, like, but it's M cubed, right?
3
cubed.
3.
No, you need to say what's being cubed.
Oh, MC cubed. Okay.
This is not a cooking podcast. This is not a math podcast.
There's none of these things.
Oh my God, I can't math, but I'll tell that story later. So,
going really well.
Something to note when you are modifying or reviewing your settings using the computer menu, the Sims don't stop moving. So if you don't pause your game, they'll just keep moving every time you switch menus, and it's like they're just inching along, and I find that really irritating. So pause your game and then go into the menu.
Pause your game, people.
That's my top tip. My top tip.
Tippity top.
Yeah. The very first setting on this menu is autosave, which I think is one of the best features on this mod. Autosave is kind of self-explanatory.
Hallelujah.
What?
It prompts the game to save itself periodically, and you can choose, the file names, the slot, whatever the names, because obviously if you go into your save folder, it's all Greek, but so you can customize the name slots that are on your screen when you load your saves that actually have names. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Because you can make different saves. Vanity.
I didn't know you could rename them either.
Oh yeah, you too, Caitlin.
In defense of vanity, I knew you could have different saves. I didn't know you could rename them all, and I was like,
I'm so glad.
I learned something from this podcast just now.
I'm so glad we could spread the word on that. So the maximum number of save slots you can have is 10. I don't really understand that. It defaults to 1 because I'll explain how it works. But yeah, you can change the maximum number of save slots. You can change the interval, like I said, so it can save every sim hour, every sim day, every real world hour, which is the default, and a pre-midnight alarm, which I don't know if that means like it gives you the option to save or not, or if it just, I don't know. And then you can actually like change it. So interval amount. So like if you wanted, I think that means you can make it save every 3 sim hours or every 3 sim days or something. But the default is 1. So it defaults to saving every real world hour every hour.
This is good if you don't have a trustworthy computer.
Yeah, it's highly modifiable.
Yeah.
Modifiable, is that a word?
Sure.
Anyway, and you can tell it to show you the confirmation that it's been saved, which I like because it's a reminder that I have this feature on, but you can turn it off if you don't want to see that. So like I said, best feature. And when you go into your save, load your saves on your main menu before you go into the game, it's there. And it's like if your game had crashed, instead of loading the previous version of the save, you would want to load the MC version. But for the most part, it's just a backup and you never actually load that save. I don't know. That's my understanding. Because what'll happen is like there'll be an extra save in your load screen that's got a MC blah blah blah. And that as far as I know, that's your backup. Unless it's like the last I don't know. This is all my assumption, and now I'm saying it sounds kind of wrong. But that's I think what that is. So your actual game, I don't know.
So there'll be a new save, kind of.
All I know is there's another version of your save.
Beautiful.
As a backup. And then you can manually save, and things are all good.
All right.
Because pretty much you should be saving every time you leave the game.
Oh, yeah.
So that's still going to be saved under whatever you called your save, like 100 Babies Death Challenge or whatever.
Okay, so it's a backup save. Whoa, wait a minute. That just registered.
What, you guys don't have, like, name your saves that way?
Yeesh. Yeesh. All right. So that's all well and good, but I'm trying to get my Sims to get to smooching. Tell me how to do that more efficiently.
Okay. Well, there's also relationship settings. This is your next
the setup you were looking for.
It's not the setup I deserved. It was the setup I needed.
That's right.
Or something. I am good at misquoting things. I don't know if you remember that from previously.
Close.
But yeah, you can then set your relationship settings. So a lot of these settings are already in the game. This just allows you to customize them so that you can make it whatever you want. So the friendship decay percentage is how quickly your friendships decay. It's set to 100% or 100. The value is 100. I don't know if it's a percent. But anyway, that's what the max's default is. This allows you to make it slower or faster. So if you change it to 0, the decay is very slow. If you change it to 200, the decay is very fast. And I don't know if you're living in some kind of dystopia. That's just a thing.
Sure.
Friendships come and go. You want to live on like some kind of reality.
Yeah. High-speed reality. Then you can do the same for your romantic relationships. So relationships get culled occasionally. So EA has a defined set of rules in the game to delete relationships that have decayed, or I guess maybe it deletes ones that haven't progressed. I don't know.
Okay, define culled for me.
So
I don't know the difference between
show.
culled and deleted.
Culling is deleting. Mm-hmm. And like say Eliza Pancakes met Bella Goth and they had like a 10% relationship, and if it decays to 0 or maybe past 0, then EA will be like, no, they don't actually know each other, and deletes the relationship.
Okay, so it's not just it's taking up less space in the game, in your Sims sort of like social bar section. It's just less processing that it has to do.
Right. And like a lot of these settings will help you in very long-term games because you can customize that and like maybe make the game run better by deleting certain level things, or make your game run really slow and putting all the settings up really high. It's just up to you.
Sure. And
or maybe your game doesn't run slow because you have the world's greatest computer. I don't know.
I think that is pretty real to life. You know, like, oh, I met this person one time and never spoke to them again. If you met that person again, you'd be like, oh, do we meet? I don't know if we've ever met. Great.
You seem vaguely familiar. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our relationship has been culled, probably. So good to meet you again. Just like that.
I have a crazy ex-girlfriend song to send you later.
Of course you do.
Done and done.
Literally, there's a song in that show for every kind of thing. Moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So please continue. We asked you to define culling, but now we know.
Yes. So this option just lets you leave on the EA defaults or turn on the MC Cleaner defaults. And then if you want to turn on the MC Cleaner defaults, then you have to go set all the settings for that, unless you just want to apply the default settings. So more to come on that, because this is just the toggle for relationship culling.
Yeah.
You'll find a lot of things in this menu that are like that. So a lot of these settings are kind of a 2-part process, so you really have to understand what you're doing. And then there's beautiful little settings like this one that's just like a one and done. It's allow teen parenting. It just allows teenagers to learn the parenting skill, even though they're by default, EA doesn't let them. But like if you're allowing teen pregnancies, or if you just want to have your teens like learn how to parent before they become adults, all you do is disable or enable this feature, and then you'll find that a lot of these features require you to restart the game before that comes into functionality.
That would be helpful for the 100 Babies Challenge.
For sure.
Yes.
And also just teenagers babysit. I think teenagers in real life, if the parenting skill were an actual skill, I think some teenagers get it, especially like babysit a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a realistic setting, and I kind of like that you can turn it on. I kind of wish it was just, I mean, I can understand why it's not on, especially when you think about sim teen is supposed to represent a sim between the ages of 13 and 18.
Yeah.
And, you know, a 13-year-old is going to learn less about parenting than an 18-year-old. So.
And I would have assumed just by this title, I would have assumed that this would have been allowed teen pregnancy. I don't know why.
Oh no, that's much more complicated, and we won't even get into it in this part.
Later.
You'll have to stay tuned to make your teen pregnant Let's Play. Your pregnant teen, that's what it is. It's like the popular one that's a runaway pregnant teen.
There's so many on the gallery, so many.
So many. And then there's also under this menu is breakup settings. And this is like, obviously the default is 0 because Sims don't do anything on their own. But if you want to have more like relationship changes going on independently, you can change that percent to up to 100. But I'm assuming 100 would be a little bit crazy. Maybe you want to try with like a 10, maybe a 5. And this will only affect dating relationships unless you also toggle the spouse relationship to change. So that's also a percentage you can set or leave at 0. And then when they break up, you can choose to move out, whether or not the sim. Okay, it specifies, break up, move out sim. This setting will specify which sim moves out into a homeless household in the case of a breakup. The default is that the male sim will move out. But if you want,
we get the house.
Yeah. But it's overridden if they're living in the male sim's parents' house. So I guess like if Alexander Goth is living at home with his parents, breaks up with his live-in girlfriend, or wife, she'll move out because it's his parents' house.
Yeah, Bella Goth would not stand for that chick to take the house. No.
Yeah. No. And because I guess it couldn't like move out the parents too, so it would be weird to have the parents living with the ex-girlfriend.
This is mine. My family.
And it's also set to random. The random is the default for same-sex relationships because obviously there's not just one type there. Or you can make it move out the female. Female by default. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
And then the other option is move children with breakup. So the default is 0. And if you change that number to anything between 1 to 99, it's random. And then if you change it to 100, it's all children always move out with the breakup. So they move out with whichever parent breaks up. Wait, they move out with whichever parent moves out.
They go.
Right. So typically the default is that they stay in the house with whoever stays in the house, which is much better for the little sim child's mental well-being.
Sure.
So 0 would be they move with.
0 is
kicked out.
They stay.
Yeah.
And 100 is they always move out.
Okay. They should stay.
It's complex maths going on here.
Okay. So what else can we do with MC squared cubed? Shit.
MC cubed. We should have written it down. MC3. Oh, you could say MC3. I don't know.
MC3PO.
Why don't they make this easier to say out loud? It's like Under the Plumbob. Who thought of this?
Who did this?
Not us. For once.
The next main menu is notification console menu settings. You have to restart for changing any of these settings. And this is a very long, but mostly informational menu. So there's a logging that goes on. And if you want to log, by default, all your messages are logged and saved. The details are saved to a file called mccmdcenter.log. That's off in your folders, computers. And there's an option to append the log file, and that's disabled. So it starts a new log file for each save that you have in your game. Or you can have it all be one file. That was my understanding. I'm not a programmer. And then there's less last exception notifications. It is enabled. And if you disable that feature, you'll get a notification every time there's a last exception error, even if you're just on the same lot doing stuff all day. So with this enabled, which is the default, you'll only get one last exception notification per time you load that lot. So like when you first load the lot, you might get the error, or when you go to leave the lot, you'll get the error instead of getting multiple alerts.
Hey, Roxy, what's a last exception error?
I don't know. I just know that they pop up when you're playing the game with MC's cubed, and it's like, there was a last exception, and it's logged into your file, and you can look it up and try to figure out what it is, but I can't.
I think it's when the game, because you know how it just automatically generates like babies, or it automatically with like random things.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes it'll happen. It'll be like, whoop, nope, these two can't have a baby because they're family members. I think it's when it catches itself doing stuff that it's not programmed. It shouldn't do. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's not just babies, but yeah, it's stuff like that. Or like if there's a conflict between like a piece of CC and a certain something, you know, it just like logs any errors that run in your game code.
Because we're excellent researchers from the MC Command Center site.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes last exceptions are caused by core errors. The best way to fix them is to avoid them. Change an item's location, use a different item. That can help, depending on the error. Deleting the local thumb cache.package file out of the Sims 4 can sometimes help with these kinds of errors also. Most last exceptions are caused by old or broken mods or CC custom content. Depending on what EA changes with a patch, this can break script mods, package mods, or both. UI-based mods are very likely to need updates following any EA patch. Script mods usually will as well. CC isn't affected often, but it does happen. And if you're going to use mods, you need to check those after each patch. We say this all the time. Just check your mods. Just get them out of there before a patch and add them back in afterwards. So these exceptions are just text files. Don't be afraid to open one and see what it says. Sometimes they will tell you exactly what mod or CC file just blew up on you. Usually they are not that forthcoming. They are hard to read in the raw format, but there's a website on MC Command Center that they link to. You can paste it. You can paste your error code into this site, and it'll tell you what the error means. It's called xmlprettyprint.com.
That's correct, Melissa. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So happy you knew that off the top of your head.
Oh, no problem.
I'm not as into... I just play the game. And I'm pretty lazy about last exceptions. I just ignore them. And I'm sure a lot of us do. But it's awesome that you can investigate them and maybe learn more about the coding and stuff like that.
Anytime one comes up, I'm just like, great, thank you so much. Thank you, MC Command Center. Like, you're really getting our money's worth over here.
Every once in a while I'll be like, what did you do? What were you trying to do?
It always freaks me out because it's orange, and I'm like, am I in labor? Oh, it's just a last exception.
Actually, what other notifications are in orange other than giving birth?
Fire. Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's that too.
Danger.
My husband is still scarred because when we did the 7 Deadly Sins, my Wrath sim got burned alive because of her DJ mixing booth.
Well,
he's traumatized now that DJ mixing booths are dangerous. And I'm like, only in the Sims.
What did I tell you? You need to put that fireproof shit on there.
You were right.
Dangerous to the dance floor.
Don't even pull up that soundbite, Melissa.
What do you mean? Pull up what soundbite? What are you talking about? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
No sound.
Wait for it.
Yay!
Okay, let's move on to other notifications.
Okay. The children have had their fun. We're going to talk more about MC Command Center now.
We like found things.
It's important.
Wait. Okay.
Oh, that's That's a practical effect because Caitlin is absolutely rolling her own dice on a table. I was telling the gals that we're rearranging our apartment, and my boyfriend found my old dice. So now I have 4 sets of dice that are all beautiful different colors, and I'll have options when I play next time.
Yay.
They're actually like a sim teal green.
Nice.
So maybe those will be my simming dice because my current set of dice kind of go with my character. But anyway.
We need to do another challenge where we use dice.
I use it for my rotational play all the time. That's why there's dice everywhere in my desk.
I don't like anything.
They get to be whatever they want to be. Variety.
Fantastic.
It's the spice of life. Continue.
It sure is. All right, so
I will continue. You can't stop me.
Please do.
Can't stop me now.
Okay, so now you can. Oh man, Queen. Okay, now we can talk about notification settings. Obviously, you want to show the notifications because there are lots of different ones you can have. So by default, that is enabled. I suppose if you just want to fix it and forget it, you can turn it off and pretend you don't have anything going on under the hood. But it's much more fun to have them on. Huh?
Under the hood, Bob. I'm sorry.
Ooh, that'll be a good Twitter name for us to use someday.
Writing it down.
When the hoodie expansion pack comes out.
No, just like when they do Handiness Appreciation Month. I don't know. Or if they do like arts and craft, when they release the arts and crafts.
When we get cars.
No.
When they do a cars expansion pack.
Exactly. They're going to do that.
That'll
for sure.
be a game pack. That won't be an expansion.
They'll do cars just as soon as they improve the babies.
Sure.
I'm sorry. That's mean. Okay. You can also have it show you when there's a version update. Right now it's set, or by default it's set to none. So you have to manually check for updates. But you can also set it for other things. Like you can have it check for updates when The Sims releases an update, like a patch, or you can have it check every time you load the game. Obviously, it's set to none because it probably takes more like processing power to like check every time. But if you want to do that, you can. Like if you don't play that often and you don't want to have to remember to check. But I mean, if you don't play that often, I pray for you. But I know life gets in the way sometimes. Okay, let's move on to something less tragic, the aging and death notifications. So
Roxy's
you can
home, bread and butter.
This is my favorite. No, actually, I turned these on for like testing the settings. It's interesting. Okay, you can have it show age up notifications, which is set to none, which for obvious reasons. But you could also have it notify you when your NPCs age up, when played played households age up, or when anyone related to your active household ages up, or when your active friends age up, or when your active relationships age up. So lots of options, and you can show death notifications for the same groups of people, or pet death notifications, which I think only the most masochistic of people would turn on. Although I did have, like, in the Tumblr challenge I'm doing, the mood challenge, they had a cat in the first generation, and I extended her life so that she wouldn't die during the aging up of my second generation. But then she moved out, and I went back, and I was like, oh, the cat's dead now, and I couldn't find the urn. It was very tragic. So yeah, just don't. No one wants to know when the pets die. You can also show birthday notifications. So I guess that's like, oh, heads up, this person's about to age up. So if you wanted to go and celebrate with them, but by default, it's disabled because, I think Detterpool wanted to have fewer notifications by default so that you can not go insane. This next menu is called MC Population Notifications. And this will show you notifications related to the movement of your Sims in the world.
Ooh.
Yeah. So by default, like I think without MC cubed, nobody moves around independently, as far as I can tell.
No, but if you don't click something in the settings, Sims without houses will move into empty houses. Oh,
that's correct. So there's that.
There it is.
Yeah, that's right. Fill empty houses. So there is that. That's like the one piece of story progression, you could say, that exists in The Sims 4 by base game. But with this setting, you can be notified when Sims move. So if there's a breakup or if they move in from a homeless household to an actual lot, you get a notification. The default is set to none for the same reasons we just described. We don't want to put a drain on the game. But if you do need to know, if you're like a control freak or you just really like notification pop-ups, that's a thing you can do. And then you can show empty house notifications. So this is kind of helpful maybe if you're running a long-term game or you're running out of real estate. It notifies you when the last sim of a household moves or dies and the lot is now empty. So like it's disabled, but if you turn it on, you get a notification and could help with your real estate woes.
That's interesting. For my rotational play, I turn off the move thing, but this would have been helpful if I did keep it on.
Yeah, like I had a save once where I had the fill empty houses on by accident, and I turned it off as soon as I realized, but there were still like a lot of, I think all of the houses in Willow Creek had been occupied, and I didn't want to move them out. So it would have been helpful if you had an issue like that, or if you wanted to create an issue like that, a situation like that, and then turn it on so that you become like you could pretend your Sims, house hunting in a tough market.
There's a housing crisis in the Sims game.
Mm-hmm. We are all about realism.
Give me magic.
The next set of notifications I actually are the ones I actually like and generally have on are the MC pregnancy notifications. So
that is nice to know.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just think it's fun. It's like, oh, look, this is my most favorite part of MC Cubed, is like people going off and having babies without you doing anything.
Well, it's like if you read the newspaper in Sims 3, you would get told like, oh, these people got married and these people had a baby. You would get the update. So that's kind of filling in that role that the newspaper had in Sims 3.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that about the newspaper. I only ever used it to get a job.
I think, because you could also read the obituaries and find out who died.
Yeah, which you could read the obituaries in The Sims 4, but it doesn't give you any actual information. It just kind of makes your Sim sad.
Yeah, and you have to be gloomy to do it. I think you have to have the gloom. You have to be sad to read it.
Yeah, you have to already be sad, and it's. I feel like it's a bit of a troll interaction that they put in there, because if you do it, at least when I've tried it before, it makes your Sim sadder. Whereas, like, if you go on and blog about your feelings, it actually helps relieve the moodlet.
It's cathartic.
But it's like, why is it there if it just makes it worse? It's like, oh, well, if you pick this one, it'll make it worse. But if you pick this one, it'll get better.
Some people just want to fuel it, because then you can make sad painting and write sad books.
I guess.
For the art.
Yeah. I just am like, I'm sad enough in real life. I don't need to be sad in The Sims. Too real. Okay.
Notifications.
Yes.
You get marriage and relationship changes. So-and-so broke up. The drama.
Yeah, this one is like you can turn on birth notifications. It's default to none, but you can change it to NPC only, played only, related to active household, active friends only, active romance only, which if your active romance is having a birth notification and you weren't involved, or all. So I like having this on. It doesn't get super detailed. It'll just say so-and-so had 1 male baby or 2 female babies or whatever.
That's enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I have on normally. But they actually have the option to show birth details, and that will actually show you the names. But it's disabled by default, which is fine, because you can find out what they're named when you go out and meet them.
Or my favorite part of playing a save that I have MC Command Center just running wild without me turning everything off. For like my rotational play, I edited a lot to make it work for me. I have certain other saves where I don't care what happens to the rest of the town, so I just let it do its thing. So every time before, I'll save the game after like 2 weeks or so, or playing one household, I'll save it and just bop around and see where everybody ended up. And why does this person have 4 kids and it's 4 different dads? Like, what happened?
Ooh, girl.
Yeah, that's intense. Yeah, that's how I found out that Brittany Cho had triplets one time, and I was like, that's tragic. She's all by herself with triplets.
Let them live their lives.
So far, every time, what's the Delgato house? They have a son
and a daughter.
The son, whenever he grows up, he always ends up in multiple saves. He always ends up having multiple children with multiple women. Every time.
My.
Don't judge him.
My.
Just saying, it's been a constant. And then in my actual rotational play, I think he rolled the romance trait, and I was like, the romance aspiration. Some things are like that, I guess.
Well, it's like how Vlad always ends up with a hot young girl, or sometimes Dwayne Talla.
Judith Ward has ended up with Don Lothario more than a couple times, and I think it makes sense. He's using her for money, and she likes having a hot piece.
Yeah, he's a gold digger. Yeah.
I can see it.
Actually, Caitlin, I have a question, and we can cut this to the end if you want, but how do you manage different settings? So, like, let's say you're playing your rotational and your settings are all perfect, and then you go into a different save where you want the settings to be wild. What do you do when you go back to your rotation?
The rotation, I have to I forget to fix it every time. I have to reinstall it. But I have to make it so people don't randomly move into lots. Active sims are not affected by any kind of relationship changes. So if I had, which makes it complicated because they keep introducing new towns with new townies, especially this year we've had more than a few new towns pop up. I haven't gotten in my rotational save to the newest town that they introduced in the university yet. So they are set to they could be affected by anything MC Command Center does before I get to them.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah.
Is what it is. I can fix that by just pretty much going in there and look, I played them for 2 seconds and then leaving, and that makes them an active save. That makes them an active family, which is always an option. But I have to make it so they're not affected by relationship changes. People do not move into the empty homes. I have to I forget to every time, and then I have to evict a whole bunch of families. It's like, just get out of here. Get out.
Wow. Does that make you feel good, Caitlin?
Makes me feel very powerful. And like I rule over these people. Because normally I'm pretty benevolent, so I take it out on these randos. But it also means that some of the townies who don't have homes, some of them who have dogs, all of a sudden have puppies for no good reason. So whenever they do actually move into, whenever somebody chooses them and they get to be a part of my rotational play, if they marry in, it's like, now you have a dog and 3 puppies. Hooray!
Spay and neuter your pets, everyone.
Who doesn't love puppies?
But I do forget every time I reinstall MC Command Center after a new patch or anything. It takes me, I forget the first playthrough, the first couple plays I forget, and then I go back and I'm like, crap, I forgot, and then I have to evict all these families, and that's how Judith Ward had. Because one of the first times we did it was before. When Get Famous came out, and I forgot I hadn't gotten to Judith Ward yet. By the time I got to her, she was already married to somebody. So I wasn't gonna. That was kind of one where I was like, I'm just gonna keep that.
But she's not gonna wait around for you, Caitlin.
No,
she just does what she wants.
And when I checked him out, like he had a money aspiration. He was like in the villain track already, and I was like, it kind of makes sense. It kind of works. He had a daughter, so now Judith Ward has a stepdaughter who's prettier than she is, and there's a Snow White thing happening now, kind of. But so sometimes it can add stuff, and then I had the MC Command Center also had that in Strangerville, the one house that has the two girls and the guy. The guy had 2 kids with some random townie who hadn't lived she was one of the random Sims in the Sim bin situation. So when I played them for the 2 weeks that I play all of them. And then I had the household split up and I had that family move in with him because he had 2 kids he needs to take care of now.
Yeah.
So it has caused like, oh, well, that wasn't supposed to happen yet. But because I forgot to change it, it's now dictated some things. But yeah, it's mainly making sure people don't move into households. Active families are not affected by anything that I don't want them to be affected by are the 2 big ones.
And you just go in and change your notifications manually every time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why sometimes I just don't reinstall MC Command Center for a while because I'm like, ugh, I don't wanna.
Yeah,
So
I've been
lazy.
playing without for a while, but I'm itching to get back into it. So
it is fun for my games where I don't care what happens to the rest of the town because I'm nosy and I like to see what they all do by themselves.
Amen to that.
So, because I have a family, I made my university save. I was making this chick, I gave her the new aspiration that came with it, and then she ended up hooking up with her teacher. And now they have 3 children because he was a family sim. And just like
heartwarming.
So I just kept playing that game and the entire universe has gone on without it because I didn't change anything.
Sure.
But that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
So we've been at it just under an hour and
there's so much more.
We're going to talk more about MCCC. We're just going to keep talking about it. So
there's so much in this, guys. But in the meantime, if you're using MC Cubed and you need more help, you can browse and search the Deaderpool website. You can join their Discord. You can follow the Patreon page. And while you're there, please follow our Patreon page. It costs nothing to follow people on Patreon. It's only if you want to join a tier that it costs money. And it's very helpful because I follow Deaderpool there because then you get like immediate notification when a patch is updated or when the mod is updated. Because otherwise, I don't think I would notice.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Giving a thumbs up to my microphone, just so you know.
Great.
Oh my God, Caitlin, I discovered this link Friday. If you go in on Deaderpool and you click on search, one of the options is UI viewer, and it's a clone of all the menu items, so you can like click on it and copy and paste. So yeah, that was super helpful.
For no good reason.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, why didn't I find this sooner?
200 and what did I say? 200
hours.
No, there's how many relationships got cold because I tested 231 relationships got cold for no good reason.
No, I think you still have to actually be in the game to see what it does, but you can copy like the text that's there.
This does remind me I am going to put on our Patreon my actual notes, which do look a lot like the notes that I put on there, but I'll put the 1% my 1% challenge notes on there.
Yeah.
Because I said I was going to do that and I didn't.
Oh, I think we're ready for like what just happened.
Okay. If you insist. That's a nice beefy one that we've got here from Mr. Lord Phoenix. He sent us an email at undertheplumbobpodcast.com.
Okay, so the first story from Mr. Lord Phoenix said, so fails. Boy, do I have some fails. I'll start with a technical fail on my part. I got Sims 2, Nightlife, my favorite expansion, that's me, Caitlin, my favorite expansion, at the same thrift store where I originally got The Sims 2 for free. So he paid 50 cents, for the Nightlife, got home, and installed it. Only when I installed it, I must have messed something up because some stuff got corrupted that was probably at most a minor inconvenience. You see, I got a glitch where the wants and fear system bugs and has missing strings that don't display properly. Usually it's supposed to happen when you install custom contents, only I never use CC. It was an official expansion pack, so I had to uninstall Nightlife, which in turn deleted all my save files. since I didn't back them up. I wasn't.
Back up your stuff.
It's harder with the older stuff too.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard of a loss since I didn't put that much time into Sims 2, but lesson learned nonetheless. I'm so sorry because Nightlife is my favorite expansion on Sims 2. Like, it goes Nightlife and then Apartment Living as my favorite.
And it's tough. This was it's appropriate for this episode because it's sort of a download software related fail. I don't know if I'd call it a fail. I think I'd call that bad luck. That sucks.
Yeah. Corrupted files.
Corrections corner. Right. Wait, did we do this one before?
No.
Okay.
No. We do need to talk about one thing super quick. It's regarding part 1 of the university review, our sort of first look at Discover University by Team Cowplant. And we're making a correction on their behalf. Listen, Team Llama did a skills episode. If you listen to it, you know all about it. You may have been screaming into your podcast listening device as the team was going on about skilling up for yoga but needing to teleport. Basically, Mars wanted to get her sim skilled up in wellness so that or skilled up enough to teleport from class to class, which is smart, but she was concerned because she was doing yoga and then thought that meditation was the way to get to teleportation. As Will Johnson says on Facebook, yoga and meditation both raise the wellness skill, so you're good to go on teleportation. She probably just wasn't high level enough. We knew this from our...
DJ Zen taught us this lesson.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, DJ Zen. Thank you so much.
Speaking of Team Tangent, but we have a new product in our merch store.
Whoa!
It's the regular logo, and then on the back, it's got hashtag Team Tangent. And so it comes in 2 styles. The ringer shirt, so it's kind of like a baseball tee, which I love that style. I think it's really cute. And then it also comes in a water bottle, of course, for Team Hydrate.
Because you gotta hydrate.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's so funny because it's like the perfect in joke because it says Team Tangent. And you were like, why is it your water bottle say Team Tangent? And
you wish you knew.
It's very in.
That was suggested by Dom, Under the console expert, and he's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And if you have ideas of what famous Team Llama jokes to put on shirts or merch or water bottles, you let us know. So, shout outs?
Yes. Oh, shout outs. I like shout outs.
Me too.
We had another episode that covered a mod called Slice of Life. You may have heard of it. And we got an email from Erica who said, I listened to your episode about the Slice of Life mod yesterday, and I was dying. You all did a very admirable job in reviewing the wackadoo period mechanics. You're welcome. And I particularly appreciate whoever it was who just said, I'm guessing Kawaii Stacy is someone who hasn't had a period. Sorry, Kawaii Stacy, no shade on you. Disclaimer. But it's something we said. Or something.
Everybody's periods are different. Everybody has
and then she
periods.
moved on.
It's true.
Because who knows, right? Maybe Kawaii Stacy is a trans woman or a preteen or just a dude who wants to be known online as Kawaii Stacy. I don't know their life. But your consistent use of inclusive phrasing is A++, which is my favorite grade as a Virgo. And Erica says, I love it. Keep up the awesome work. She was listening to a bunch of podcasts lying in bed because she was sick. So we're hoping you feel way much better, Erica. And please check out her blog called thesplinesfamily.com. Spline, like SPLINE, that thing that like popped up on your loading menu way back in the day. Anyway, the Splines family.
I thought those were spleens.
That's what I thought too.
Maybe they're spleens, but I call them splines. It's fine.
The splines are fine.
Okay.
Hey, this is Roxy, just rocking us out for the end of this episode. We ran a little short when we were recording. Well, we ran a little long, but then Melissa had to go and do our Twitch stream. Didn't have time to record all of our social media plugs, so here they are. You can find us on all the social medias. We are Plumbob Cast on Instagram and Twitter. We are Plumbob Podcast on Reddit. We are Under the Plumbob Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, YouTube, and Twitch. Our website is undertheplumbob.com, where you can contact us directly or email us at undertheplumbobpodcast@gmail.com. We have a weekly Twitch stream at 11:30 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, but that's on hold until the beginning of January, so we're taking a little time off at the end of the year. Please find us, subscribe, rate, and review on any of these podcast catchers out there: Apple, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, Pandora, and let us know if we're not on your favorite platform. We have a goal of getting 100 reviews on Apple by the end of 2019, and we're oh so close to meeting that goal. So please, if you can, get on there and give us a star rating and or written review. We do try to read out all of our written Apple reviews because we're very appreciative of them. That's it for now. We'll be back next week with more on MC Command Center to finish out the year, so stay tuned for that episode. Now back to the real world.
Badish. Dag dag.
Happy birthday to you. Happy